And welcome back to this week's Hoenn. It's been a long time since I did a battle royale for the Pokemon stars, so why don't we get back into the Pokemon stars? I actually have the pictures of every starter so far on my computer for thumbnails ready to go. And it's been a while, so I figured, you know what? I haven't done one in a while. I got a whole bunch of lists of them of who wins. Let's do a Pokemon one. And this week, it's the Hoenn stars, Sceptile, Blaziken, and Swampert. So let's get started. We'll start with the always famous first one in the order of the grass stars. Sceptile stands at 5'7" and 115 pounds of raging gecko lizard monster. Now, in terms of his abilities, he has no real clear-cut ability apart from being extremely acrobatic. Sceptile is an extremely acrobatic individual. When he's in the jungle with trees, good luck trying to touch him. Now, in terms of his actual stats, where he excels the most on is special attack and speed. He is the fastest, bar none, of all of them. And we're with, say, like, things like with the Johto stars, where it was kind of a decent margin. The fastest, Blaziken comes right after him in speed. Blaziken has an 80 in speed. He has a 120 in speed. He is far faster than him or Swampert. So right there, he's got a speed advantage. Special attack-wise, he's also at 105, so he's pretty high. Unfortunately, he's pretty low in defense, so he can't take too many strong hits. Other than that, though, he's got 85s for attack and special defense, and HP is at a low, stagnant 70. He's not a very durable individual, but he is quick, and he is powerful. Now, in terms of his attacks, he's got a whole range. You know, the whole saying. He's got Absorb. He's got Pursuit, which I wouldn't think. He's got Screech, which is a unique, which is in a battle could actually be decisive when you actually think about how things would go. Leaf Blades, it was introduced with him. That's his trademark. Get just Scythe Blade going and just shink. Love it. I love that technique. Love it. Easy, and it allows for easier critical hits. Agility increases his speed, has already amazing speed. Slam, and then Detect, and of course Leaf Storm gets hit with a harsh recoil, but it's pretty fucking beast, Leaf Storm. So, yeah, Sceptile, not much to go with. Now, Blaziken, I can't remember Blaziken can, jump 30 stories. So, that's pretty high. So, whereas Sceptile has the agility and speed advantage, Blaziken just has pure power on its side. Blaziken has an attack of 120, special attack of 110. Unfortunately, everything else is on the lower end, but not. He's got a defense of 70, so he's actually only slightly tougher than Sceptile, who's got 165, who's got a 65. And then you got 80s for his HP and speed. And 70 for special defense and defense. He's very weak in defense, and dual typing actually doesn't help on that. If any of these guys knew psychic or flying techniques, which thankfully neither of them do, he would be in a world of hurt. Or fairy techniques, too. Let's not forget the fairy. Now, that being said, he is perfectly capable of using things like Focus Energy, Blaze Kick is his signature technique, Sky Uppercut, Double Kick, Ember, Flamethrower, all those good stuff. Slash, great stuff. And then we get into Swampert. Now, Swampert actually has the most abilities out of all of them in terms of Pokedex entries, because we always got to factor this stuff in. So he can drag more than 1 ton faster than a jet. I don't know if he can drag it faster than a jet ski. I think he just moves faster than a jet ski in the water. But she can drag more than a ton, so making him the physically strongest in terms of, when you actually think about it, in terms of attack, yeah. Attack power, yeah. But physical strength, Blaziken doesn't have that. So you got to look at him as probably the physical strongest of them. Strong Vision can hear sound waves through water, and has literally arms as hard as rocks. So you hit it, and it's going to hurt. Unless, of course, you're a fighting type, like Blaziken, then that wouldn't matter. But he's also a ground water type. Now, against Sceptile, he's fucking dead in the, pun intended, dead in the water. Against Blaziken, he has a double advantage over Blaziken for that. So that's going to be really odd who's going to be taking on who here. Now, in terms of he's actually got the highest HP. He's actually the hardiest of them, with a 90 defense and 100 HP. 110 attack. So he's actually only slightly below Blaziken in terms of just pure attack power. Special attack is at a 90, which is actually the lowest among them, but still not bad. Special defense is actually the highest among them at 85. So he's actually the hardest and most defensive, but he's also the slowest at a 60 speed. And of course, he's going to use things like Mud Slap, Water Gun, Bide, which more damage, all that, and then deals the damage back. Basically twice the amount of damage, more or less. Mud Shot, Mud Ball, Takedown, Muddy Water, which is always a favorite of mine to use whenever I use them. Endeavor, Earthquake, that one's going to be a very interesting one. Hammer Arm, Protect. So, basically, you look at this and you get the Speed Demon, who's going to hit Speed Agility Demon, and Skeptile, who's going to be, using the trees to his advantage in a scenario. And we got to lay a scenario where they can all utilize their advantages to their fullest. Now, granted, Blaziken doesn't have a environmental advantage like Skeptile and Swampert do, but he could probably like burn down trees and stuff like that. But yeah, Blaziken's definitely the powerhouse of them overall in terms of just pure attacks, both special and standard physical. And Swampert is the hardiest of them, especially against Blaziken. Blaziken's going to have the most trouble with Swampert. So it's all going to be dependent on who's going to go after who in this. Who's going to see the other as a more viable threat. And the difference in this, where say, just a comparison, actually a good comparison would be the Meganium and Typhlosion and Feraligatr one. Meganium was a very peaceful Pokemon. She doesn't want to fight unless she has to. Skeptile is far more warrior-like. You look at a Skeptile, you're like, compare the two. Yeah, Skeptile's the one who's actually going to be more willing to get involved with shit. So it's really going to be who's going to take on who first. Now, let's say there's a clearing. Here's the middle. There's the clearing. Forest is there. The water's there. Swampert just emerges out of the forest, and Blaziken shows up, and Skeptile is there. Then you get the fight. So how does this go first? Well, I think if I'm going to say who's going to make the first move here, I think it's going to be Blaziken. Blaziken is probably going to start out with probably like an Ember type attack or some flame attack, a flamethrower or Ember attack aimed towards Skeptile. Skeptile is going to avoid the attack very easily and then probably go in with a Bullet Seed attack. But Blaziken is probably fast enough to avoid the Bullet Seed, but he's got to also keep in mind that Swampert's there. Swampert is probably going to try to take on Blaziken. Both of them are actually probably going to want to take on Blaziken because Skeptile is too far away right in this scenario right now. This is just how the scenario seems likely to pay out. Again, who wins? I always do the most realistic, realistic, but most viable scenario for them to be duking out, and that's the way it seems, because Skeptile would be in the forest, Swampert, so in the water. So Swampert would actually be aiming for Blaziken because Blaziken is the closest and the easiest to take out, and then he can deal with freaking Skeptile. So he'd probably start out with like a water gun. That one might hit Blaziken. Blaziken's going to take a hit from that. So Blaziken, in retaliation, is going to probably do a Sky Up or try to do another Flamethrower, but that's going to be, or a Flame Attack. I'm going to say Flamethrower for that, but that's going to do very little, I think. Regardless of what you think, Fire Attacks hurt water Pokemon. They just don't do much damage. And then, Swampert can just be like, nope. But Swampert can do Protect, too. Let's be clear about that. And I just got to reread real quick for Blaziken. Can he lose anything that's a... hello, puppy. No, Blaziken's the only one who can't use Detect or Protect. So Blaziken's got a big disadvantage here in terms of that. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Assuming I choose Blaziken to lose. Because actually, believe it or not, I'm just doing this as I go along. I actually didn't think about I thought a little bit about how it's going to go down, but I didn't actually choose the winner yet. So I'm basically going off the top of my head right now, playing the battle out in my mind. So anyway, Blaziken's probably going to do a Flamethrower. He's got to get some distance between them. Skeptile's going to be right on him. Probably going to maybe even try one of his techniques along the lines. The thing is, Skeptile doesn't have many range techniques. He can learn Bullet Seed, but that's actually not one of the techniques he can normally use. But he would probably now try to... The thing is, I think Skeptile would want to get into close range, but the moment he knows he's at a disadvantage, he would probably retreat to the trees. So he tries to get in, tries a Leaf Blade, doesn't necessarily connect, but he doesn't fully connect anyway. But he definitely grazes it. Blaziken then does... Blaziken at that point uses Bulk Up to increase his defense and attack. Then follows up with a Double Kick. Misses one, I'm going to say, on Skeptile, but lands the other one. Skeptile goes reeling back a bit. just like, Skeptile. Then we see Swampert get out of the water, lift a giant rock. Not a 1-ton rock, I'm saying this is probably only 500 pounds, and then toss it at Blaziken. Blaziken's again going to use a double kick, fighting type attack, so it actually, you know, destroys the rock. And then when it breaks, rock debris comes in with a sky uppercut and lands it straight on Swampert. Swampert's definitely going to feel that one, go reeling back into the water. Then he's going to focus now onto Skeptile, come in again, speed up with a quick attack just to get in there. Skeptile will use the tech to basically avoid, just do ching ching, but then the blaze kick comes in and goes boom right in Skeptile's face. Skeptile goes reeling back. Skeptile's not down for the count yet, though. He sees that he's now at a disadvantage from the hit. Notices Swampert there, decides to go over to Swampert for a second, using his speed, which is far superior, so he gets there far faster. Swampert gets up, shaken. Forgive me if I'm rambling. I'm again going on the fly. Skeptile uses X-Scissor on that, basically catching him off guard. Swampert goes reeling again. Swampert then starts using Absorb onto Swampert. Starts getting some of his HP back. Swampert, now pissed at this, just says, Earthquake it, and the whole ground shakes. Everything's going. I think Skeptile avoids that by jumping up in the air, and so does Blaziken, doing the 3-story kick. Blaziken will then fire the flamethrower at freaking Skeptile, who's now in the midair. However, Detect is still, he can use Detect because he can't use it multiple occasions, but he's used a few other techniques now. So, he uses Detect, avoids it again, then realizes he needs to retreat to the trees, is able to get into the trees quick enough to avoid any other attacks from Blaziken for the time being. Now, at this point, it's going to be down to Swampert and Blaziken for the time being, because now he can't see where Skeptile went. So the fight continues. Blaziken knows fire attacks aren't going to work, so he's going to try to rely on his physical attacks. He's going to focus energy, bulk up again, and then Swampert's going into bind. So it's basically kind of just binding, and then she focus energy. So now you got a fully souped up Blaziken ready. Comes in with a quick attack, hits, hurts him, but it doesn't defeat him. Comes in a sky uppercut. I'm going to say that Swampert doesn't go down yet. I think that he can survive it long, because he's the hardiest of them. Takes a full-on sky uppercut, though. And then when I think he's close, though, he's going to deliver a massive bite attack straight into freaking Blaziken's gut, sending him flying, probably crashing through a tree. Now the three of them, because Skeptile's still fairly worn out at this point. He's the squishiest among them. They're all worn out now at this point. So now just going, please, skip. At that point, Blaziken's getting ready. Blaziken's getting up. Is it ready? And then at that point, all of a sudden you hear the rustling of the leaves, and the storms are brewing. The leaf storm comes in and smashes into Blaziken, throwing him in, hits Swampert, boom. And I think they both go down at that point. I think Skeptile saves his trump card, because that's going to hurt him very much. I think because of that, it's either going to be Skeptile in the long run because of speed, avoidance advantage, and being a bit more comfortable in his element. Because you gotta give their elements gotta give their environments put into the equation here. Gotta give where they're best suited. Swampert's best suited for the water. He's suited to the forest. So you gotta give that in the case. Now there's a catch. I say it could go to Skeptile. However, I think it could also end as a draw, because there's a harsh recoil to leave storm. So I think it either goes as a draw because they all pass out at that point, or I think Skeptile narrowly gets a victory in. Now, if you want me, because I have to play devil's advocate, I always play devil's advocate on this. The scenario where the others win, Blaziken solely focuses on Skeptile, does not let Skeptile out of his sight. Actually, no. Then completely beats Skeptile. Then he just remains out of the distance of Swampert long enough to continue the bulk up, focus energy, all that, and then delivers a couple sky uppercuts and double kicks onto him. In terms of Swampert, Swampert's a bit more of a difficult one to determine how he wins. I think he actually wins the least amount of times out of them. But he can try using muddy water, flood the forest. Skeptile would avoid that. Blaziken could avoid that too. But then he can just shoot him out of the air with something like water gun. Use things like protect to protect against himself. Actually, I should probably change that up a little bit because Swampert could use protect to avoid the leaf storm, but he couldn't he could avoid the leaf storm, not the crashing body of Blaziken into him. So okay, I still stand that Skeptile probably wins that. But he uses muddy water. He could even if he hits Skeptile, it wouldn't defeat Skeptile because it's a water technique. And Blaziken could jump 30 stories to avoid it, but then he has to come back down. Then he aims a hydro pump at him and just blasts him into oblivion. I believe he can learn hydro pump. No, actually, he can't learn hydro pump naturally. Oh, they changed that. Oh, that's unfortunate. But anyway, he uses like a mud shot or a water gun or something to blast him in the air. Then he uses once it gets close enough, he uses a hammer arm to just knock the hell out of Blaziken. And then, see, actually, I can't see a scenario. I gotta take that back a little bit. I can't see a scenario where Swampert wins this because Swampert has a supreme advantage over Blaziken, but has a supreme disadvantage over Skeptile because of typing. Because Skeptile is a pure grass type. He's the only mono type in that of the starters. But Swampert's a water ground. He's got a ×4 disadvantage to Skeptile. He loses flat out to Skeptile. The only way he wins is if he somehow hits him with Earthquake or Hammer Arm. He can avoid the Earthquake and the Hammer Arm with the Tech and with jumping. His speed just completely outmatches him, and he's got enough power on his side, plus a type advantage to completely waste Swampert. So I gotta give it in the long run to Skeptile. Here's how I would break it down. Skeptile wins 60% of the time. Blaziken wins, because there's no guaranteed scenario where he can't win. So 35% of the time, and Swampert wins 5% of the time. But I think Skeptile takes the victory the vast majority of the time. So that's how I see that fight breaking down. I know I was a little scattered in this. I apologize, but I actually had fun. I like sometimes just thinking them up on the fly. Normally, I actually think who the actual victor is going to be when it's just a one-on-one. But when a battle royale with these, it's a lot more fun to just kind of go by your seat of your pants a little bit, so to speak. So, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. This week, I got a Star Wars video to do. I'll probably do that Saturday, honestly. Actually, I'll be honest, I might just say only one Star Wars video this week because work has just made it very hard to get my schedule in tuned. But I will have a Zootopia review up tomorrow. Anything else I got to... Oh, and of course the vlogs for Saturday. And I mentioned this in my last Star Wars video, but if you have a suggestion for someone to fight Larfleeze, the Orange Lantern who's greed-based, give me a suggestion. I have someone on the roster, but I just don't think it's going to be a very even fight. Someone suggested Dormammu, but Dormammu is a giant super demon who fights Doctor Strange on a regular basis. Don't think that fight's going to go very well for Agent Orange. So, yeah, if you can think of anyone who's actually kind of greed-based, I would appreciate it as an idea for Larfleeze. So, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you